This aircraft was the workhorse of the British Air Force for nearly 40 years. It's been deployed to drop laser-guided strategic bombs on targets in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya, despite its original design and the main purpose of transporting nuclear weapons. Whenever the British military went to war abroad, these fighters were always the first to reach the front lines. In this video, we'll talk about the Panavia Tornado, this lethal fighter which is always ready for battle. Be sure to stick around to the very end so you can learn about its history and current military position. Italy was the first to develop the Tornado. However, the commercial operations did not commence until 1979 and 1980, after the first voyage on August 14, 1974. As a result, it's been used by a number of air forces as a multi-purpose alternative to numerous types of aircraft. During the 1991 Gulf War, several air forces, including the Royal Air Force, or RAF, the Aeronautica Militare, the Italian Air Force, and the Royal Saudi Air Force, utilized the Tornado for low-altitude penetrating strike missions. Tornadoes from a variety of parties proved significant in a number of battles, including those in Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, and the 2011 Libyan Civil War. Upgrades for the Tornado. The plan to upgrade the Tornado was put into action after a few test flights, and some minor tweaks were required. A number of changes were made to the engine intakes and the fuselage to reduce the negative impacts of airflow disturbances at hypersonic speeds. According to Jim Quinn, an engineer on the Tornado's engine and engine controls, who also produced simulation software for the Tornado, safety concerns occur when attempting to decelerate at high altitude. As the combustion pressure is redirected into the intake, when the turbine is operating at high altitudes and low speeds, it causes significant vibration because the compressor cannot handle the extra pressure. To compensate, the engine controls would raise the minimum dry thrust setting with increasing altitude. This would occur only at extremely high altitudes. Due to an excessively high idle setting, the pilot of one of the test flights became trapped in a high-altitude Mach 1.2 supercruise and had to rotate the aircraft to slow it down manually. German experts working on the Tornado tried to mimic the Concords, but they were unable despite having access to data provided by the Concorde crew. Concorde's higher management had the nerve to try to sue the British engineers who contributed to the plane's design using a patent that was obviously fake. Chief Engineer Talbot was approached for comment by the German engineers after they learned via the German lawyers that the British had supplied the drawings to the German team, but he respectfully declined. According to reports, Concorde engineers determined that the Tornado's engine was installed at an inappropriate height for the aircraft's slanted intake ramps. Given the low level of command pressure, the intake ramp angles had to be computed using the same stringent standards as the Concorde. Intakes can be displaced from their optimal position by aerodynamic forces, making engine management all the more important. The Tornado's air intake system, however, blocked that. As a means of protecting their careers, the British technical team kept the superior intake design for the Concorde a secret from the German management team. Experiments show that using the thrust reverser during the landing roll has a destabilizing impact. Thus, a nose-wheel steering augmentation system and yaw damper are employed instead. During the era when this plane was being built, manufacturers of aerial vehicles began using increasingly sophisticated stability augmentation systems and autopilots. These enhancements can be found on General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon and Tornado aircraft. To ensure the Tornado could fly with a variety of payloads and variable sweep wings, the aircraft's triplex analog command and stability augmentation system, or CSAS, was tested on a battery of realistic flight control rigs. The first Tornado airplane ever made took to the air on July 10, 1979. The same day, the mass production of these planes also began. Supply drops to the RAF and the Luftwaffe started in June of 1979. On September 25, 1981, Italy received its first Tornado. The RAF Cottesmore Tornado Pilot Training Establishment, or TTTE, began training pilots on the Tornado on January 29, 1981, and did so until the Tornado fleet was decommissioned on March 31, 1999. The final Tornado was sent to West Germany on December 19, 1987. After a reversal of West Germany's decision to prohibit exports of the Tornado, the plane was purchased by buyers in other parts of the world. British Aerospace and the Saudi government agreed to purchase Tornado fighter jets as part of the Al Yamama arms swap. In the early 1990s, when Oman's economy was a mess, the country decided against spending $250 million on Tornado fighter planes and related equipment. The United Kingdom considered the Tornado at first, but later on went for the FA-18, as did Canada. According to Air Forces Monthly, the Tornado has held the title of the most important military aircraft in Western Europe for the past quarter century. The Tornado's design. When it comes to penetrating enemy defenses from low altitudes, the Panavia Tornado shines as a multi-role twin-engine aircraft. Several key aspects of the design were determined by the intended missions, which were to drop conventional and nuclear bombs on invading forces from the countries of the Warsaw Pact in Eastern Europe during the Cold War. First, the low-level dive at a well-prepared opponent required minimal drag, which was achieved by the wing's variable design. The then revolutionary fly-by-wire system and other modern navigation and flight systems considerably decreased the pilot's burden in low-level flying and made the aircraft control simpler. The Tornado may retract its refueling probe to extend its range for missions that require it. Various operators have phased out the use of specialized single-role aircraft for purposes like battlefield reconnaissance, maritime patrol duties, or dedicated electronic countermeasures, or ECM, in favor of either standard Tornadoes or modified variants, such as the Tornado ECR, due to the Tornado's versatility as a multi-role aircraft. The Tornado ADV was the most radical upgrade from the original Tornado design. It was lengthened and equipped with long-range anti-aircraft missiles so that it could perform the job of an interceptor. In order to maintain their Tornado fleets in service, Tornado operators have implemented a variety of life extension and upgrade programs. It is expected that the Tornado, after these improvements, will remain in service until 2025, more than 50 years after the first prototype took flight. The weapons and equipment. The bulk of NATO's air launch weaponry includes unguided and laser-guided bombs, anti-ship and anti-radiation missiles, and specialized weapons like anti-personnel mines and anti-runway munitions, which all may be carried by the Tornado. The Tornado has a variety of countermeasures on board, including chaff and flare dispensers and electronic countermeasure pods that can be installed beneath the wings to increase its survivability in combat. The range of the Tornado can be increased with the help of underwing fuel tanks and a buddy store aerial refueling system. Many years have passed since the Tornado first entered service, and in that time all Tornado operators have implemented numerous upgrades and modification programs to equip their squadrons with new weaponry. The Tornado has been modified to carry a variety of weapons, including advanced cruise missiles like the Taurus and Storm Shadow, and conventional bombs like the enhanced Paveway and Joint Direct Attack munition. These modifications have enhanced the combat efficiency and capabilities of the Tornado. In addition, conventional weapons like cluster bombs have been phased out in favor of more precise options like cruise missiles. During the past half-century, the Panavia Tornado has been recognized as one of the most effective military aircraft, and it continues to hold this distinction. Countries that own this aircraft are in a better position since their air forces are able to exert a significant amount of influence. Will the same versions of the Tornado be able to dominate the skies forever, or will we see a newer version sooner? If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for regular military updates. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below. Thanks for watching.